but I get to see him do that.
That's like Walmart's outlets. I mean, you know, how many can they squeeze in there versus how many they want? Car wash is fun, you know.
I have that, that's bigger than.
This is a call to order for the August 14th, 2023 City of Canal Winchester Planning and Zoning meeting. Time in is 7 o'clock. Mr. Deeds, roll call, please.
Mr. Wildenthaler?
Here.
Mr. Donahue?
Here.
Ms. Gooden?
Here.
Ms. McDonald?
Here.
Mr. Deeds here. Mr. Pelsgrove?
Here.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Mr. Ritchie.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Wildenthaler?
Yes.
Mr. Donahue?
Yes.
Ms. Gooden?
Yes.
Ms. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds, yes. Mr. Pelsgrove?
Yes.
Now I need approval of the minutes from our July meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Wildenthaler, second by Mr. Paulsgrove. Roll call.
Mr. Wildenthaler?
Yes.
Mr. Donahue?
Yes.
Ms. Gooden?
Yes.
Ms. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds, yes. Mr. Pelsgrove?
Yes.
Now it's time for public comment for items that are not on our agenda. If anybody wishes to speak. All right, if you'll be speaking with us this evening, would you mind standing and taking an oath? If there's any chance you'll speak to the commission tonight.
You ask any questions.
Yeah, if you're going to ask questions or have a comment. No?
If he's asked questions. He does not.
Okay, then you don't need to take the oath. Do you swear to be truthful in the testimony you give? Tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. If so, please say I do. Thank you. And I'll now turn it over to staff for our first applications. Mr. Hare.
Right, the first application on the agenda this evening is application BA 23010. The owner are John and Marshall Crabtree. The applicant's American Pools and Fountains for a location at 116 East Columbus Street. They're requesting a variance from Chapter 1195.04E to allow more than one accessory building on a parcel. The subject property is zoned Old Town Commercial, or I'm sorry, Old Town Single Family, and it's surrounded by all parcels that are also zoned Old Town Single Family. It in total is 0.45 acres, so it's a rather large lot in the Old Town District, and there's a number of lots, as you can see on the plat. There are portions of lots that are included in total. It contains a single-family home that's approximately 2,926 square feet, and it currently has a detached garage that's 1,008 square feet. The applicant is requesting approval to permit a second accessory structure on the subject property, and the request is to permit a gazebo or pool house, as the applicant notes, to be located adjacent to a future in-ground swimming pool. So as you can see from on what's on your screen currently, the layout of the existing single-family home and the garage, as well as the driveway that goes back to it. The existing three-car garage is 892 square feet, and then there's a patio and a pergola adjacent to that. Zoning code permits one accessory structure of no more than 720 square feet. On your screen, you can see the applicant's proposal. They're proposing to install a pool in the rear yard with a patio surrounding it. And then adjacent to the pool is a pool house or gazebo that is 18 by 26 is what they're proposing there. This is an open walled structure, so it's a roof and posts only. It has an open design. You can see here the layout of that pool house. Again, 18 by 26 in size, includes the roof structure and posts only. The applicant notes in their application that the proposed accessory structure would not be visible from the street. It'd be located behind their home, and their lot is surrounded with a privacy fence, so it wouldn't be visible from many of the surrounding properties, either with the way that it's laid out on the lot. The staff report goes through the criteria for approval. It notes in the staff report that many homes in the Old Town area have detached garages which count as accessory structures, and this prohibits any type of additional accessory structure from being constructed, whereas in most single-family homes in Canal Winchester have an attached garage, which wouldn't count as the accessory structure there. So that limits the ability to have improvements here. The applicant has a rather large lot with the 0.45 acres. And the lot coverage, they still have adequate grass space there. There are no standards for lot coverage specifically in the Old Town Single Family District. Our typical coverage area is 30% on most residential lots in the city. But that was eliminated in 2012 in the Old Town area with the redo of the Old Town regulations to allow people to further develop their lots, especially some of the smaller lots that we have in the Old Town area. So staff is recommending variance application VA 23010 be approved as presented. The request for a second open air accessory building is compatible for the subject property and allows for the use of the yard space regardless of the function of a pool house or not. This will further be required to be reviewed by the Landmarks Commission. So that will be the next step if it's approved here this evening, and it'll go to Landmarks to review the compatibility of the architecture of that pool house.
So is this a motion to move it to Landmarks, or just simply us approving it and then they'll?
Yeah, it'd be required to be approved by planning and zoning prior to being approved by Landmarks. They're just looking at the design, not whether it's appropriate for the lot.
Okay. Any other questions for staff?
No.
Is the applicant present, and anything you wish to share?
I'm present, nothing else to share.
Okay. So this is a variance, so I'll open it up for public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I move we close public hearing.
Second?
Roll call. That was made by Mr. Wildenthaler, second by Mr. Paulsgrove. Roll call.
Mr. Wildenthaler.
Yes.
Mr. Donahue.
Yes.
Ms. Gooden.
Yes.
Ms. McDonald.
yes,
Mr. Deeds, yes. Mr. Paulsgrove.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve VA-23-010 as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Wildenthaler, second by Ms. Gooden. Roll call.
Mr. Wildenthaler.
Yes.
Mr. Donahue.
Yes.
Ms. Gooden.
Yes.
Ms. McDonald.
yes,
Mr. Deeds, yes. Mr. Paulsgrove.
Yes.
Variance is approved.
The next application on your agenda is application SDP 23005. The owner is the Central Ohio Transit Authority. The applicant is Jeffrey Lonshore of CESO Incorporated, the engineer on behalf of the project. The location is 5850 Gender Road at the northeast corner of Gender Road and Trillium Avenue. It's a proposed site development plan approval for a 2,048 square foot quick service restaurant with a drive-through. The subject property is 0.85 acres on the northeast corner of Gender and Trillium. Properties to the north and south are zoned general commercial and are both developed with automobile convenience markets and fueling centers. Property to the east is zoned general commercial and is an existing single-family home. And property to the west is zoned exceptional use and is an automotive dealership. The applicant's requesting approval to construct a new 2,048 square foot Del Taco, which is a quick service restaurant with a drive-through on the subject site. The site's a corner lot, so it has two frontages. It has setbacks of between 46 and 48 and a half feet along the Gender Road frontage, which falls within the minimum built-to lines. And then on Trillium, it has a setback of between 76 and 90 feet from Trillium. The applicant received a variance during the June Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for the building to exceed the built-to lines as established in the commercial development standards for the Trillium Avenue setbacks, or we're not meeting that built-to line. The site plan shows one access point on Trillium Avenue. It lines up with the access point for Friendship Kitchen, which is immediately across on the south side of Trillium. There are a total of 21 parking stalls provided on the lot, which meets the parking requirements. And a sidewalk is included along both the Gender Road frontage and the Trillium Avenue frontage. The Gender Road sidewalk is 8 feet and will match up with the sidewalks that were built by Friendship Kitchen and also from Sheets. And so that'll connect that sidewalk all the way through. And then the applicant did receive approval for a variance for the parking to be located between the building and the public right-of-way. So the Trillium Avenue frontage has the parking located between the building, which typically is not permitted, but they did receive that variance at the June Planning and Zoning meeting. Looking on your screen in front of you, the proposed utilities on the site. There's an 8-inch water and sanitary sewer main that run down Trillium Avenue that's able to serve this property. And then stormwater is handled by a shared underground detention system that's been installed by the Coda Park and Ride. So it's actually an underground system within the Park and Ride lot that serves for both this parcel and Friendship Kitchen. I'll stay here for the landscaping as well. The applicant is proposing 7 trees to be planted on the site that are a minimum of 2 inches. So that would meet our requirements for the total trees required to be planted for the building square footage and the number of parking stalls. They're also proposing a row of boxwood hedges along Gender Road to screen the drive-through. And then there is they're providing inkberry holly along the east property line, just to provide an additional buffer from the residentially occupied parcel. So the parcel to the rear is zoned commercial, but it's still occupied by a resident. There is an existing tree line there that's being maintained, but it'll be enhanced with additional trees and shrubs to help screen from any noise and any lights that would happen to spill over there. The lighting plan shows 8 parking lot lights to be installed around the site. The lights are noted to be a historic bell fixture, which matches our design requirements. The total 18 feet in height, which is the maximum height that we permit for a parking lot of this size. And they show it's a downward cast light. And then there's also downward cast light on all 4 elevations of the building. The photometrics plan meet all requirements for tolerances for brightness and the foot candles, and there's no spillover onto any adjacent parcels. Again, here's a quick proposal for the landscape plans. This has been reviewed by the urban forester, and it complies with all the requirements for plants that are not permitted to be planted in Canal Winchester. So everything is permitted here: maple trees, honey locust, flowering cherries, arborvitae. So pretty standard plants that you would see in Canal Winchester. In terms of the building elevations, the drawings show the buildings to be constructed out of primarily red brick and a secondary color of black brick. It has a black metal parapet and then some green awnings, green metal awnings. It meets the 80% natural material requirements for the overlay district, and for the architectural features, we require a certain number of architectural features on each elevation, and this includes those with architectural features, doors, windows, included on each of those building elevations. I'll go to the color because they're more interesting. The plans show that the front elevation of the building is designed to face Gender Road. Secondary entrance faces the Trillium Avenue frontage. The window glazing is 40% is what's required along the Gender Road frontage. The applicant has proposed 42% of window glazing on the front facade between the height of 2 and 10 feet, so they meet the window glass requirements for the overlay. And the building features that parapet wall, which will wrap around the entire building to the height of the rooftop mechanical units. So any rooftop mechanicals will be screened from view. And then the plans note a dumpster enclosure to be constructed out of brick to match the building facade with a solid gate, which you can see in some of the renderings here. So you can see the drive-through includes the front patio. It's what we've required for any parcel that we've allowed the drive-through to wrap the front of the building. So that was part of the conditional use that was approved at the June meeting. to allow the drive-through on this site. And again, here you can see the parapet walls. They've got some rendered in HVAC equipment on the roof of the building there, so you can see the screening there. The dumpster screen to the rear. Again, you can see that with the design to match the building. There is the drive-through features that match the building as well. You can see those with the kind of canopy they have over the drive-through ordering area to keep people dry, to keep people out of the weather there. Again, metal with green metal to match the canopies over the doorways. Again, there's a better shot of those green canopies, and that gives you a better view of that black brick accent features that they're putting on the corners of the buildings as well. Signage details have not been provided for review. However, there's conceptual signage to kind of get you locations and scale of what that'll be required to comply with Chapter 1189, which is the signage standards for the city. So those permits will come later in terms, but conceptually the signage is proposed on that corner entry feature. Staff is recommending that Site Development Plan SDP 23005 be approved as presented.
Questions for staff? Anything the applicant wishes to add? If you could, sir, just sign in up there, please.
I have a really long address. It's my office, blame the company. But my name is Jeff Lontra, I'm a CESO, representing the project. I think staff pretty much covered most of it, but happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the applicant?
Maybe it's just the way it looks on the plan, but the light on the entranceway is very far back toward the parking lot, and it looks like, is there going to be any lighting close to the street at all? I'm thinking of someone trying to drive in there at night, and if it looks dark, they may not pull into it, so.
There is street lights along Trillium as well.
All right, that's good to know. I think the only other question I had is there's a lot of green space there. Was there any discussion about doing something with that? I guess we could leave it green space, but it is kind of an opportunity for something else we want to do.
Which area on the,
But to the left of the entrance as you pull in.
yeah, it looks like there's just one tree proposed there with the light post.
Ah, got it. I didn't, okay. The mock-up didn't have the tree,
Tree's
so.
not it, yeah.
Which, by the way, the mock-ups are fantastic. It's good to see what you're going to get
Yeah, I would agree.
versus trying to guess from little sticks, so.
Any other questions for the applicant?
Yeah, my only question, and it may just be the way the rendering's drawn, but you're only allowing one handicap space?
No, it's just, we're proposing one based on code requiring 0 or 1 space to 24 to have 1.
Okay.
Any other questions? Comment? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Just need a motion.
Motion to approve site development plan SDP-23-005.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Deeds, second by Mr. Wildenthaler. Roll call?
Mr. Wildenthaler?
Yes.
Mr. Donahue?
Yes.
Ms. Gooden?
Yes.
Ms. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds? Yes. Mr. Paulsgrove?
Yes.
Site development plan's approved.
In terms of old business, just a quick update on the comprehensive plan. So the steering committee has met and reviewed the first draft of the plan. The consultant has taken back those comments and is starting to make edits to that draft. And then the next step would be to get to a distribution draft, and that will be posted on the website for public consumption. It will also be coming to Planning and Zoning Commission for your recommendation on that. So the hope is to have that likely at the October meeting of Planning and Zoning. So hopefully we're working towards that, where we can have a meeting in October. Wanted to see if there's a preference to do a separate work session to talk specifically about the comprehensive plan. It looks like we'll have, at least Ohio Health is kind of marking that meeting to try to get their project proposed for Planning and Zoning to be on that October agenda. And there may be another project that we're working towards as well for that agenda. So I don't know if we want to schedule a special time, if we could work maybe a half an hour earlier. So just wanted to get thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I could work.
6 or 6:30, whatever that you think, Mr. Hare, in terms of timing.
Okay. But we'll work towards that. And then I don't have anything else for old business this evening.
Any new business? Anybody? All right.
Move to adjourn?
Second,
Motion made by Mr. Paulsgrove, second by Mr. Deeds. Roll call.
Mr. Willenthaler.
Yes.
Mr. Donahue.
Yes.
Ms. Gooden.
Yes.
Ms. McDonald.
Yes.
Mr. Deeds. Yes. Mr. Paulsgrove.
Yes.
Timeout 7:21 PM.